Hello world and welcome back to another Mekanism tutorial, where today we're going to be talking about all about upgrades, whether it's for your pipes or machines, as well as some new machines which you'll get later on in this mod. As always, if this tutorial helps you out in any way, shape or form, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, it really helps me out, and ring the bell button for more tutorials in the future. Let's start off with what we're covering today. Obviously, I've said that we're going to be doing upgrades as well as some new machines. Ideally, we're going to be going over the Osmium Compressor, Combiner and Crusher. They're going to be vital machineries that you will need. The Combiner not so much, but it does have its uses, as well as upgrades for all your different machines, and also upgrading things like your energy cubes and your tanks, which we covered in the previous tutorial, linked down in the description. First off, let's talk about machine upgrades. To upgrade your machines from different tiers, you're first going to need these basic tier installers. The basic tier installer is basically going to turn your base machines into their next tier, meaning the basic tier. They're crafted with 2 basic control circuits, 4 redstone, 2 iron, and any sort of plank. Doesn't have to be oak, but any sort of plank, and that will give you your basic installer. Now, the basic installer, they can come in stacks of 64, just like any other thing, and you install them on all the machines we've covered previously. So if you run into this room, last tutorial we covered the metallurgic infuser, enrichment chamber, smelter, and precision sawmill. Now, to apply these basic upgrades, you just have to hold shift and right click on your machine. As you can see, it's now got the basic infusion factory, the basic enrichment factory, the basic smelting factory, and the basic saw factory. Makes sense, you can tell that it's basic because they've all got the green tinge, similar to how they are green in the installers. Now, a couple of things. When you actually go into the machine, you can see that you can now, instead of just doing 1 item, you can now do 3 items at a time. And if you wanted to split all your different items around, you can do auto sort, and whatever item you put in this square, it would also put it into equal spaces on all the different sides. Besides that, all the different configuring is all the exact same, no different from last tutorial. As well as this, if you have anything else in here, you can dump and it will get rid of all the contents inside. Looking over at the basic sawing factory as well, when you get a byproduct, you also have a secondary byproduct space. So you still get all your byproducts per craft. But going beyond that, we can also upgrade our items even further. We can get advanced, we can get elite, and we can get ultimate. These are all crafted in very, very similar ways, but I'm obviously going to take the next tier of circuits and alloy. So in order to create the advanced, you need to get the advanced control circuits, 2 of. This time you're going to need osmium ingots and 4 infused alloy. Again, any sort of plank, and this is going to give you the advanced installer. And then you've got the elite, which is going to be the exact same recipe pretty much. You're going to need your reinforced alloys, which is the 1 upgrade from infused alloys. You're going to need your elite control circuits, which are 1 up from advanced circuits, and then 2 gold and a plank, and that is going to give you the elite. And then finally the ultimate, which is going to require 2 diamonds, your atomic alloys, and your ultimate control circuits, and this is going to give you your ultimate tiers. Now, something to note is when you are wanting to upgrade your machines, you do have to go in tier order. As you can see, all our machines here, they are on the basic tier. You can't just hold shift and right click and go straight to ultimate. You have to go 1 at a time. It's a little bit tedious, so you are going to have to make a lot of these, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And ultimate tier, you can have a lot of items. Let's see how many is in total. I think it's 9. Yeah, 9 in total you can get with all your byproducts and all your ability to dump and everything else. Now, something to note here is that each of these machines are going to require a lot more power as you upgrade them. So if we go into our ultimate infusing factory, you see that we now need 36 KFE, killer FE. I don't actually know what FE stands for, but killer FE, in order to fully power this. Where you have the regular metallurgic infuser, this only needs 8, so it's a lot more powerful, a lot more power is required in order to run all these machines. You can still, just if you wanted to, have this turned off and just do 1 at a time if you wanted to, and it would act the same as a metallurgic infuser, except it'll have a little bit of a speed upgrade. All of these do have a mild speed upgrade, but it's mostly the benefits of having these upgrades is having more being done at once. There are other ways also to upgrade your machines. You do not have to use these cards specifically. What you can do is upgrade your machines manually in the exact same way. Say you wanted to turn your metallurgic infuser here into the basic metallurgic infuser. You'd have the exact same recipe here, except the wood plank would be your machine. So if I take this out of here and put our machine inside, you can see we've now manually crafted the basic infusion factory. I don't personally like doing it this way. I prefer having a stack of these and just right clicking how I want to. Otherwise, you're going to have to make many of these machines and constantly upgrade them manually. So I'd personally go for the cards. So we've spoken about machines. How do we upgrade our actual energy cells? In the previous tutorial, we learned how to make the basic energy cube, which is essentially the same as a basic of any sort of machine, but it's a bit higher than base. Now, with the basic energy cubes, you cannot use these upgrades installers. They do not work on these. You do have to do these energy cubes absolutely manually, but it's going to be the similar concept. You just got to take all your different components of different tiers, throw them together, and you'll get the next level. Now, of course, in order to go all the way up to ultimates, you do have to go tier by tier. You can't go straight to ultimate. So to get from the basic to the advanced, we're going to need 2 of these energy tablets. Each one of these crafts are going to require 2 more energy tablets. Then you're going to need 2 osmium for infused alloy, and that's going to give you your advanced. The advanced is noticeably different from the basic. The basic can hold a maximum of 1.6 MFE. The advanced gives you 6.4 MFE. Next, we've got the elite. The elite is going to require gold, reinforced alloys, again 2 more energy tablets, and this time your advanced cube. Now, the elite is actually going to bring us all the way up to 25.6 MFE. We're growing up pretty quickly here. And lastly, we have the ultimate energy cube, which is obviously going to require the elite, 2 diamonds, 2 more energy tablets, and your atomic alloys. Now, this is our best that we can get, and this is going to give us 102 MFE. It's a lot of power to get in one single block. However, this is not the end all or be all. The ultimate energy cube is not the best power you can get, or the best power storage you can get inside of Mekanism. There is something else called the induction matrix, which is a multi-block structure, and it can go all the way up to 18 by 18 blocks. By 18 blocks inside, it is going to be absolutely massive. However, we are not covering this today, but I'll leave a link down in the description and up in the cards for when that tutorial has been made. Let's move on to the next 3 machines now. Starting off with the Osmium Compressor. You can see this is a little bit more advanced, as we need the advanced control circuits. As well as that, we're going to need some steel casing, as always with these machines, to start off with, as well as some infused alloys and 2 empty buckets. This is going to give us the Osmium Compressor. Now, the Osmium Compressor you're going to use mainly for one thing, and that is going to be by making these refined obsidian ingots. Now, you make the refined obsidian ingots by taking your refined obsidian and throwing it inside the combiner. It's very, very simple. Now, the thing is with the Osmium Compressor, your fuel is not going to be coal. Your fuel is going to be osmium ingots itself. So if we throw in some osmium in here, you can see it doesn't quite fill it up, but each single ingot gives us 200 liquid osmium. If we put another one in here, you can see it doesn't. Oh, okay, I suppose it does fill it up then. And then we put our refined obsidian in here, and it will start chunking away. Very, very simple stuff. It's 1 refined dust to 1 ingot. The other thing you can make is your refined glowstone ingots. And now this is using regular glowstone. Exactly the same thing is in the combiner. You're just going to need to get your glowstone and your osmium, and then you've made your glowstone. Now, there's not too many things you can do with glowstone or refined obsidian, but there are some things that are going to be desperately needed. Mostly the refined obsidian. The refined glowstone, not too much, but having a quick look inside, you can see that you can obviously make gold nuggets. You can make all of the different basic tools that you have in Minecraft, a block, of course, as well as all your armors and other things. The only thing you're really going to use the glowstones for is by making these teleporting frames, but that we will not be covering the teleporter today in this tutorial. But besides that, nothing else. Pretty much the teleporting frames and tools. Very, very basic when it comes to the glowstone. When it comes to the refined obsidian, you can again make all the basic tools. So these machines here that aren't actually from Mekanism. This one is, however, as you can see, this is a very late game item, the chemical dissolution chamber, as well as some other Mekanism things. There you go, the quantum interlooper. So you are going to need all this refined obsidian eventually, as well as making some other little cool things like the robot. Now, the combiner is the exact same as every other machine in this. If you shift right click, you can upgrade this in its entirety to get all your different points. And as you can see, you can hold now a lot more osmium inside as well, filling it all the way up to 1,800 and probably 2,000. Let's go with 2,000 because it's not filling up directly evenly. Next up, we have the crusher. The crusher is a very, very useful tool indeed, as obviously it gives you all your dusts. You can turn your ingots back into dust if you need them for certain crafts. Now, this is only going to be using the basic control circuits. This time you're going to need buckets of lava, 2 of, the steel casing as always, and 4 redstone. Now, the crusher inside works pretty simply as you would expect it. You take your ingots of any type, throw it in the crusher, and it will turn it back into dust. Now, this works as the same way with diamond and osmium. Diamond, you're obviously going to need your diamond dust in order to make some of these upgrades. So in order to get your advanced components such as the refined obsidian, you obviously need to make refined obsidian with the diamond dust inside of the metallurgic infuser, which is why you need the crusher to get that diamond dust for your metallurgic infusers. And just for demonstration, here you go, I've put some diamond dust inside, we're taking our obsidian dust and we are turning that into our refined obsidian. So that is the way of getting your more advanced resources. And last but not least, we have the combiner. As you can see, this is quite an elite tier, as you can tell, where we're using the elite controllers and the reinforced alloys. This is, however, going to need cobblestone, or you can actually use mossy cobblestone if you wanted to, as well as your steel casing. Now, the combiner, I've not really found too many uses for it, but it's a way of basically turning your processed ores back into their regular stone variant. I don't know why you would want to use it, but you can. So if we took here some diamond dust as well as some cobblestone and put the two together, we can remake ourselves some diamond ore. Now the thing is here though, however, it's actually going to take up 3 diamond dust to make 1 diamond ore, so you're actually losing 2 diamonds per craft. So I don't really understand why you would use too many things like this for the crusher. It's got a cool funky animation. Obviously you can do other things. The crusher is mainly probably going to be used instead of actually, you know, remaking all these different ores. It's probably going to be using mainly for, you know, getting gravel out from flint or combining dyes together. That's the best way I could think of really using it, instead of making all your ores for some reason. That's going to be the end of machines for today. However, let's actually focus on how to upgrade these machines, not in tier, but in how fast they are, how much energy they use, and exactly how loud they are. Starting with the speed upgrade, of course. Now, these speed upgrades, you can put 8 of them inside a machine, any machine that you would like. Now, this is going to require some osmium dust, which is why you're going to need that crusher. You're going to need 2 infused alloys and 2 glass. Now, as I say, these can be put into absolutely anything, but let's put them into crusher as an example. So you have to click up in this top corner. You've probably noticed it already. It is the upgrades. In here is where you put all your different items. So you just put your upgrades, whatever you choose, in the corner here, and you can see upgrades one at a time. If we now click on speed, you can see it's adding each one at a time and how much it's actually speeding everything up. So before it was going pretty slow, but once this is turned up all the way to 11, we're going to get ourselves 10 times more of the speed. So now if I put in this diamond dust, you can see that it's a heck of a lot quicker. Now this works the exact same way, that if we upgraded this all the way to the highest tier, let's just do that for example, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then do auto smelt or auto mix, you can see it gets very quick, very fast. Now with so many speed upgrades, you're going to be drawing so much power, especially if you are using something like that ultimate crusher or ultimate machine. Now I had a creative cube right next to it, so obviously it was going to keep up with the power. But in order to keep a buffer of power, you can actually add an energy upgrade. You can get 8 of these per machine as well. This is going to require some gold dust, 2 glass and 2 infused alloy, and again these can stack up to 8. So if we go back into the combiner, bearing in mind we are using ultimate, the ultimate uses 72 kfe, but if we put in our items here, you can see it's going to add 1 at a time. Again, we can click on this to see how many times more effective it's going to be, as well as the amount that we can add in total. Now this is going to slowly bring things up. Now it's filling up automatically as we're using the creative, but it's going up rather quickly. In fact, it's nearly as much as having its own companion cube, or basic cube, not companion cube, energy cube. But there we go, with 8 upgrades, we now can hold 720 killer FE. It's absolutely insane. With having so many machines, things can get rather loud inside of your base, which is why they have given us the muffling upgrade. The muffling upgrade is going to require 1 steel grit, 2 glass and 2 infused alloy. Now 4 of these can be input per machine, which is very handy. They only stack in 4s. Pretty much the way of knowing is however their maximum amount of stackage, that's how much you can probably put inside a machine. So here we have our crusher. If we put it inside, we can hear that it's very loud. And we are running out of materials very quickly, it seems. But if we put our muffling machine in fact, let's try this on a different machine. So here you can hear it's very loud with the ultimate infusion factory. However, if we put our muffling upgrades inside, 1 at a time, it's going to be the exact same thing. You can click on muffling, it will see how many times. And once all 4 are in, you can hear it's incredibly quiet. You can still hear it's there, but it's 10 times quieter. In fact, completely gone. It's completely silent. You can no longer hear these machines. I highly recommend putting this on all the machines, because otherwise it's going to be very loud, especially with things like the crusher. That's very loud. Now there are a couple of more upgrades which we are going to cover today just to keep it all in the one episode. However, they are not going to be used on the basic machines or the regular machines. These are more for advanced machines, which we'll cover later in this series. But the first one is going to be the anchor upgrade. This is going to require diamond dust, 2 glass and 2 infused alloy. And essentially this is as it says. It's going to chunk load the area where a machine is. However, this can only be used on the digital miner, teleporter, and well as the quantum entangle porter. Now, we haven't covered these yet, but we are going to. But essentially, something, let's say with the miner or the teleporter, you're going to want your destination to be loaded, or you're going to want your miner going away from your base all the time, which is why you have these anchor upgrades, so they constantly are working away. Next, you also have the gas upgrade. This is going to require iron dust, 2 infused alloy, and 2 glass. 8 of these can be put into any sort of gas machine, and essentially any sort of machine that uses gas is going to increase the efficiency. So that means it's going to use less gas per craft. A very, very good one to have once we get to that point. And the last one is going to be the filter upgrade. Now, you'd think that by the name of it, it would probably be able to go on most machines. However, this is not for, and this is for something very specific. This is going to require tin dust, 2 glass and 2 infused alloy, and this only works on the water pump. Now, what it does is the water pump by itself is going to just pump up regular water. However, if you put the filter upgrade in there, it's going to start pumping heavy water. Now, we haven't covered what each of these two are going to be used for yet, but that is the way of getting heavy water. The last thing when it comes to upgrades is you can actually remove these upgrades. If you click on whatever upgrades you would like to take out, you can then click on this little button over here and it will take them out one at a time. And then to reinstall them, it's the exact same. You just place all your energies, in this case upgrades, back into the slot and it will reinstall your upgrades. Now, with all these machines and all of these power upgrades, you're probably going to want a way of both moving power quicker as well as some items. This is where we go into upgrading all our different pipes. Now, all of these different pipes are crafted in the exact same way, just the type of pipe is going to be different. So we are going to use the basic universal cable as an example here, but using every other pipe such as the transport or logistic pipe or the mechanical pipe, it's all using the same 8 and the same infused alloy or elite alloy and so on and so forth. So to go from the basic to the advanced, you're just going to need 8 of the basic craft, and then you're going to need 1 infused alloy. This is going to give us our universal advanced. Next, you're going to get the elite. For that, you're going to need 8 of the advanced type and your reinforced alloy. This is going to give you your elite cable. And then obviously to make your ultimate, you're going to need 8 of the elite and then 1 atomic alloy to get your elite. Now, each time you are going to get 8 of per craft, so it's very simple. You can just add all your infused alloys into the center and use the exact same amount in the previous craft. Now, there is a major difference when it comes to the amount they can transfer. As you can see, just with the universal cable themselves, you can store quite a lot of power. So at the basic level, you can only transfer 3.2 kFE per tick, but with the ultimate, you can do 3.27 MFE per tick. So it's literally 100 times better going all the way up to ultimate. Now, this, as I say, is going to be the exact same when it comes to the other pipes. So just looking inside here, we've covered the universal cable, but when it comes to mechanical, you can see that's based on fluids. This can now pump 512 at the basic level, but at the ultimate level, it's 64,000. So that's 64 buckets pumped per tick. Then with pressurized tubes with this gas, you've got 1,000. At the ultimate, it's 1,024,000. The logistics transporter, this is all about moving items. You can pump at 2 items per second, but at the ultimate it's 120 items per second. And finally, we have the thermodynamic conductors, which is all about heat. This has a conduction of 5, but the final, it's not the conduction rate that's changed, it's actually the insulation. So the hotter the item is, the more you can actually keep it cool, I guess. So the insulation of 10 to begin with, and the insulation of 100,000 at the ultimate level. But talking about filters and all the different pipes, let's actually cover the electric pump. Since we haven't actually gone over this yet, this is pretty much a basic machine that you're going to get early on in the game. As you can see, it only requires some infused alloys, no circuitry at all, as well as a steel casing, an empty bucket, and 3 osmium ingots. Now, the electric pump is very, very simple. You just place it over water and it will start pumping right away. Here we're using our creative energy cube just as a power source. Something to note that with the pump, whenever you place it down, your input of power is always going to be in the opposite of direction, or the direction that you're facing. So make sure you're facing in the right direction before you place it down, as it's always going to be pointing away from you to begin with. Now here we're just using some creative power in here, but we're also going to be using a tank. For this case, we're actually going to use the ultimate tank, which is the best tank, and we're going to throw this down on our pump. Hold shift and right click in order to pump it, and it will just coming straight out the output. You don't have to do it straight with the tank. You can use pipes, of course, and it will transfer it all around. But inside you'll see its reservoir. It has an internal buffer. It has a power use, and now this also can use upgrades as well, such as speed, energy. It doesn't need muffling, but it can have the filter upgrade, which you spoke about. This side, on this one here, we have our filter upgrade, which is obviously going to tell us to store heavy water. Now, heavy water takes a lot longer to pump. You don't get it nearly as quick. Here you're going to be getting, let's see, you're getting about 500 millibuckets per tick, but over on this side, you're getting only about 10. Now, it doesn't actually look like it's pumping at all, but trust me, it is. As you can see, getting about 10 millibuckets per tick, and you need 1,000 per bucket. So in here, we've only got under 10 buckets, to be honest with you. Now, as you can see, it doesn't actually have to be a full source of water. Here we've got a 3x3 giving us all water sources, but it isn't actually cutting anything up. And we're both getting both heavy water and regular water from the same pour. But if we were to separate these, you can see the water source doesn't actually get pumped up when using these. It's essentially an infinite source of water always. Now, speaking of the ultimate pump, how do we actually craft it? Now, you can probably already guess, it's the exact same way as upgrading all the other machines or energy cubes. You have to use the previous tier to make the next tier, and using the next tier of your alloys. So we covered how to make the basic tank in the first tutorial, but to upgrade it to the advanced, we're going to need 4 ingots. We're going to need 4 infused alloy with obviously the basic fluid tank in the center. This is going to give us the advanced. Then you're going to get the elite. Using the advanced, you're going to need 4 ingots again of iron. Then you're going to need your 4 in reinforced alloy to get yourselves the elite. And then finally for the ultimate, you're going to need the elite fluid tank in the center, 4 iron ingots yet again, and this time 4 atomic alloys. And this is going to give us the ultimate. Now, the difference of these are very, very simple. Basically going from elite all the way up to ultimates, they just hold more buckets of water. At the basic level, you can hold 14 buckets of any type of fluid. At the advanced level, it's 28 buckets. At the elite, it's 56 buckets, and at the ultimate, it's 112 buckets. That's a lot of buckets of whatever fluid that you could possibly ever need. Now for today, that is going to be absolutely everything when it comes to upgrades. There is nothing you can get further when it comes to upgrades. There's only other machines which could give you better stuff, such as the induction matrix, which we'll cover shortly when it comes to getting more power. But if this tutorial helped you out in any way, shape or form, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out for more tutorials in the future. Please ring the bell button, as next time we're going to be covering a little bit more of advanced machinery, when it doesn't just come to ore doubling, but as well as ore tripling and maybe beyond. But until next time, guys, take care.